Okay, so now that we've updated our chunks, we've updated our tables, now we're going to talk about inline code. And so I think some of you have been doing this already, but what you can do in R, and part of what makes these R Markdown documents so powerful, is you can update individual numbers that you reference throughout your paper or throughout your report every time you run your knit or document. And so you can do that using R, and basically you're going to use these. You're going to use a backtick, a single backtick, the letter R, and then include kind of whatever you'd like to print there. And so this is especially useful if you want to reference a numeric value, and especially if you think things in your report are going to change. And so this makes it so that you don't have to kind of go through and update those numbers every time you make you decide to do something new with your report. You can just let your report recompile and it'll appropriately pull out the value. So let's show that real quick. So for example, here, let's say that I'm interested in writing about the output. I want to say what this estimate for weight is. And so I know that estimate exists in this tidyM object. Oh, let's run this code real quick. So I know that output exists in this tidyM object. I want this negative 5.34 because I want to have a sentence here that says the estimate for weight, or the coefficient for weight, is negative 5.34. But I don't want to have this hard-coded in. I want to be able to just have that be updated each time. So I can add this backtick R, and now I can reference this value here. And so I'm going to figure out how to reference this. And so to do that, I want to pull out the estimate column and the weight row here. So I want where tidyM term is equal to weight, and I want the estimate column. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that pulls out the value, and then I'm going to say drop equals true because I just want the value itself. So now I'm going to write all of that here, and now let's knit that and see what happens. There's going to be one more thing that we're going to make sure we do. So here it says the coefficient for weight is negative 344,716. So that looks pretty good. I think we probably want to round it is the only thing. So let's do round. Let's round it to 2 decimal places so that it's a little bit easier on the eyes there. So there it is, negative 5.34. And in addition, we can do things like we could include the confidence intervals, or we could include the p-value, we could include anything. We just would need to reference it like this. So an important point is when you're doing this, anything that you're referencing, any object is going to have to come after that object is created in an R chunk. So for example, if I tried to stick this up here before that tidyM object is created, let's see what happens if we did that. I'm going to end up with this error where it says object tidyM is not found, because if you remember how this works, our Markdown documents are knit from top to bottom, and so it hasn't gotten to the part yet where it creates it. So I need to make sure I put it after that those values are created. So I'm going to stick that there. And let's do a demonstration of why this is really useful. So I've knit this document. I see this output. The coefficient for weight is negative 5.34. Now let's say I decided to update my model. And instead of just looking at the relationship between weight and miles per gallon, I wanted to look at weight and miles per gallon adjusted for whether or not there was automatic transmission. So I'm adding in another variable into this model. And so if I run that, I don't have to actually update my value. If you notice now, the value, instead of being negative 5.34, it's negative 5.35. And it automatically updates it in the text, so I don't have to change it there. And let's say I added another variable like CYL, for example. And now the weight variable changed, the coefficient for weight changed to negative 3.13, and it automatically updates it in the text. So this is why this is very, very neat. Let's update this text here. We fit a model examining the relationship between weight and miles per gallon using the MT cars data. adjusting for automatic transmission and number of sellers. Okay, let's knit that. Looks great, and you'll notice that all of the code here is at the end, and this is looking pretty fantastic. So now it's your turn. I want you to use the same document as the previous application exercise, and I want you to update all references to numeric values using inline code. And be sure to round your numbers, and if you'd like to try to go an extra mile, see if you can find a way to set an option that will round all of your numbers for you. So maybe an option you can set at the top of your document that will round all subsequent numbers so you don't have to use the round function every time.